I don't know if I can sell this one with my characteristic glibness. Transgender girl was stabbed 9 times at roller skater party in revenge for lying about her gender before performing a sex act on a boy, court hears. Court hears, so no ruling yet. Look, you've got a MAGA account here. Lying about your identity in order to have sex is this a MAGA account? Embodiment-focused writer, lecturer, activist, exposing safeguarding failures, trans ideology. Yeah, okay. It's called sex by deception. It's a form of... I'm sorry he was stabbed, but he's a perpetrator as well. Great, great. And then, that's Elon Musk. Go back to here. The 18-year-old aspiring model was lured to a roller disco where she was set up by a masked mob screaming tranny as 5 teenagers punched, kicked, and stamped on the victim, who collapsed after being knifed repeatedly by a teenage girl. In a brutal 55-second attack, which was filmed and plotted on Snapchat. The transphobes are the stupidest motherfucking people alive. What the fuck are you doing filming your hate crimes? The victim was punched to the ground where she was kicked at least 7 times by 19-year-old Summer Betts Ramsey before she pulled out a knife. A helpless stabbed the victim in the nose, thigh, hand, buttocks, handbag. The victim survived the attack. That's impressive. Harold Leisure Center, after a member of the public intervened to stop Betts Ramsey stamping at her head and called an ambulance. Afterwards, Betts Ramsey, now 20, boasted about the stabbing, posted a story on Snapchat with footage from the attack and laughing emoji, telling friends, "I'm going jail. Bro, I stabbed her 12 times. Heartwarming. Transphobe who attempted to murder a trans woman still genders her correctly after attempting to murder her. What a silver lining, huh, folks? There we go. There's the glibness. It really does go to show, I guess, how I've talked about it before, but it's like how eliminationist transphobia is. The way this is being presented by this dipshit, Amy Sousa. Like this, I guess it's like, because you saw this with Nazis, you still see this with Nazis, you saw it with Emmett Till or whatever else, where the superficial explanation for hate crimes is always going to be people on the far right being like, okay, well, you know, that's bad and all, but if you think about it, actually, maybe it wasn't that bad. But then you look further into it, and it always is that bad, and they're always lying. You know what I mean? I don't actually believe you can't really have like a middle ground position on it, you know? Really helpful when violent criminals document their crimes. To be fair, if you are the kind of person who wants to stage like a 5-man mass beating and stabbing of a trans woman for no reason, you probably have like subnormal IQ. So the recording of the incident seems like it would fit in with your, you know, like it's in line with where you're at. Yeesh. Surprised she survived. I mean, Jesus. Apparently she has deep scarring. Well, scarring makes you look cool, so more silver linings, really. Oh, that picture is of the stabber? Is it? This is the stabber? That seems unlikely. Attacker? I don't think... it's a Daily Mail article. That's the is that the stabber? Oh, yeah, it is. That's crazy. Oh, pardon me for assuming that the primary attacker was a guy. I apologize for my misandry. Apparently the attack happened 1 year ago, so, you know, not still in the... You read out her name? Yeah? Summer Betts Ramsey? I don't know. Maybe they're calling boys Summer now. Well, you think I'm going to assume the gender identity attached to the name? Get over yourself. It says she? Well, it could have been the trans woman pulling out a knife. You're right. Unironic sexism, you literally did assume. Yeah, I literally did assume. You were busy reading out loud to the class. I could have been paying more attention. Women can be hate criminals too. Yeah, certainly less likely, but... Sickening moment, teenage mob stabbed transgender girl 9 times. They have security camera footage. Revealed faces of gang who stabbed trans girl in, quote, revenge attack. Jesus. Hold on 1 second, okay? I'm kind of curious what are the comment sections like, okay? Because we're actually hitting on like a perfect... We're hitting on like a perfect balancing act for the Daily Mail audience, okay? Because the victim is a trans woman, but the perpetrators are mixed race youth. So it's like, whoa, Daily Mail audience, the ball's in your court. They'll hate them all. Let's find out. At the time of the attack, she presented no threat to anyone, did nothing to provoke the attack or justify it in any way. Unknown to the victim, this was a planned premeditated attack. Kicking and stamping on someone when they are defenseless on the ground is abhorrent. Consistently, we hear these courts about attacks of this nature, which have led to death. My understanding is that the reason... Like, the thing that prompted this was that the trans woman had sex with one of the members of this group without disclosing that she was trans. So this is like a very classic gay panic defense, basically. Like, or they would see it that way. It's like, we have been duped, or like, bet you other people found out. My guess, by the way, because I've seen this happen so many times, is that the person who had sex with the trans woman knew she was trans, but wanted to keep it on the down low, and other people then found out that she was trans. And then the guy who she had sex with had to pretend that he was outraged because otherwise it would be, then he had to be like, oh my God, I was duped or whatever the fuck. It literally says this under your images. So what you're saying is I'm that smart that I was able to predict it? The attack was plotted by Bradley Harris after he had a sexual encounter with the victim on January 29th. He was later told she was transgender. I bet he knew to begin with, because that happens so often, dude. That happens so often with trans women, that guys will sleep with trans women like quietly, and if it ever gets found out, they get mocked or harassed or attacked by the guy who slept with her knowingly, because he doesn't want to lose face to his friend group or whatever. That's literally what happened to me, Vaush. Jesus, I'm really sorry. That's Ramsey live in a children's home in possession of a defensive weapon. In a children's home? In a children's home? Wait, what state is this in? Oh my God, it's the Daily Mail. It's in the United Kingdom. I'm stupid. Sorry. Children's home, right. Orphanage in the UK. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I tweaked my back yesterday, okay? Neurons are fixing the damage. They're distracted. YouTube chat's a bit slower sometimes, so when I make a mistake, people are correcting me for it for like 30 seconds after. Devastating to my ego, but that's okay. I'm not going to crash out. I'm holding it together. I mean, you stream for like 10 hours a day, you don't have to worry about it? Yeah, 10 hours. The trial heard how Harris plotted the attack while the victim denied she was transgender before kissing him and performed an oral sex act days earlier. Unbeknownst to the victim, Harris recorded the sexual encounter on January 29th on a FaceTime video call. A friend then phoned Harris to tell him the victim was transgender, which she admitted only after Harris held her at knife point. Oh, maybe he didn't know. Held her at knife point saying, I'll stab you if you lie. The victim later apologized. But Harris was already meticulously planning a savage revenge attack. Hours before the attack, Bets Ramsey was heard on the phone saying, I have to go to Harrow to beat up a tranny bro. The knife-obsessed 19-year-old decided to bring one of the... What is it with British people and knives, man? I guess it's because, like, you don't care about cars as much as Americans, so you don't have, like, spanner wrenches or whatever. You don't play baseball, so you don't have baseball bats. You don't have guns, so I guess you just run out of implements, What about crowbars? Do you have crowbars over there? I'm just looking for novelty. I know they don't have guns. I'm saying, like, there's other melee implements. It's illegal to walk around with a bat on display? What? I don't know. Where do you put the crowbar? I'm just saying I'm getting, like, bored of the knife thing. It's just boring. Whatever. The knife-obsessed 19-year-old decided to bring one of the blades she had delivered to the children's home where she lived. Serious injury, stabbed repeatedly, totally unjustified, kicking and stamping on someone while they're defenseless on the ground. The judge was asked to take into account peer pressure, but said, I struggle to see any, as he believed the attack was carried out with general excitement. Yeah, no kidding. I've watched the CCTV footage of the attack more than once. It's sickening to watch. We will not be watching it. Her gloating in the aftermath of the attack was shamelessly hateful and dehumanizing. People acting in groups often perform acts they would not do alone. Bets Ramsey was obsessed with knives, recruited to lead the attack. Her lifestyle at that time and her previous convictions for violence explain why. Prosecutor Dina Heer, KC, earlier said, this was a planned attack, motivated at least in part by her transgender identity. Really? Bets Ramsey was subject to a community order at the time of the stabbing after being convicted of robbery and battery. Robbery and battery. Okay, hold on. I understand I'm speaking from outside my field of expertise. As you all know, I'm a lawyer in America, so I know everything about U.S. law. Community order at the time of the stabbing after being convicted of robbery and battery. She wasn't in jail or prison? Robbery and battery? We have no space. Literally, the prisons are full. We don't have the prison space. That's crazy. Is it because you only have like 4 because like in America, we've got a bunch of prisons and they're still pretty full. Yeah, let's see where the comments fall. Not all teenagers have little or no respect, so they should not all be tarred with the same brush as those above. There are plenty who are good and honest, and those who don't cause any trouble at all. Okay, they're just pro-teenager. They are over 18, have shown no remorse, quite the opposite, actually boasted about instead. So why just a young offenders institution? Why not to jail? Although considered adult people... Learning about the British legal system from Daily Mail comments, I don't see any issues with this. Although considered an adult, people between 18 to 25 in England will usually be sent somewhere that caters to them, young offenders prison, not a full adult prison. Usually in America, if you are a minor and you commit a crime, you've got like juvie. But if you commit a serious enough crime, you're close enough to being adult. Or if you're black, they just sent you to adult prison anyway, to like general, you know, to a general cell. I feel like you'd have to go to regular prison for this, man. You did a hate crime and stabbed somebody a bunch. Or if you're black, yeah, I'm just describing the behavior of the you know, of the American judicial system, okay? I'm not endorsing it. Yet Starmer wants the voting age reduced to 16 because he deems them to be adult enough to vote. Yet this lot were sentenced as being underaged. It should be, oh, here we go. It should be the law that if you're trans, you should have to disclose that fact before any encounter. This being said, a lot should have been tried as adults and all got heavier sentences. This one sentence sums up the UK in 2024. The knife-obsessed 19-year-old decided to bring one of the blades she had delivered to the children's home where she lived. That is a pretty funny sentence. To be fair, I would be absolutely devastated if someone tricked me into thinking they were the opposite sex to me. You can't thinking they were the opposite sex to me? You can't play around with people's feelings and mental health like that. That's why it's best to get to know someone before being intimate with them. It's a difficult case to judge. There are lies and unnecessary extreme violence. Nobody in this case is blameless, but it is an extreme reaction. Yeah, this looks about what I would expect, I suppose. I guess I kind of expected it to be more vitriolic, but you know, what are you gonna do? What purpose does disclosing you're trans before intimacy serve? I mean, honestly, I endorse trans people disclosing that just for like safety reasons at this point. That has nothing to do with like sexual assault or disclosure or ethics or anything like that. That's purely like you should probably be like very selective with who you're sexually open with as a transgender person at the moment, given the current state of things. That's just a comment on, you know, that's just a safety thing. And this is the future generation. Heaven help us all. From Worthing, United Kingdom. The justice system is failing us. No hope for kids like this. They should have been tried as adults. Most of the comments here seem to be more anti-hate mob than pro-hate criming trans women. So I guess that's nice. Sheesh. So many things to take in. The transgender girl was wrong to not tell the boy she was trans when they kissed and had oral sex. Obviously, attacking and stabbing her was seriously wrong. Why is a 19-year-old housed in a children's home? Anyone over 18 should be treated as an adult. Is it consent if I lie about the partner's gender? The lynching of the victim is awful, but there's more to this story that isn't being addressed. Not long enough for any of them. Yet another set of ludicrously lenient sentences. I'm sorry, did I miss the sentencing at the end? Am I stupid? I am, I know. You don't have to answer for that. What was the length of the sentence? Was it at the beginning? Did they like lead with that? Oh, here we go. Bets Ramsey will serve at least 4.5 years in youth detention with an extended sentence of 4 years on license after she was deemed a dangerous offender. Youth detention. Meanwhile, Harris, Hinz, and Osai have all been locked up for 3 months in a youth offenders institution. The 17-year-old boy was handed an 18-month youth rehabilitation. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to be like, you know, Police Paul over here, but I feel like if you stage and participate in a potentially murderous group lynching, you should probably be arrested for a long while. Or sorry, not arrested, but you should be in prison for a long while. Like it's attempted murder. They don't have space in prison. Build more skill issue, build more prisons. I don't know what you want from me. Sounds premeditated. It's objectively premeditated. I'm so upset they're getting away with it. I mean, this girl is 19 and at a children's like youth center or something. So her life's probably anyway. All their lives are, I assume. My understanding is that like right now, Britain is entirely consists of decrepit aging boomers who refuse to have anything about their neighborhood change, immigrants who would be willing to work hard but are so socially maligned that they're too busy like being negatively polarized into Sharia law, and hoodlums, like just youth, you know, football hoodlums, or people doing knife tricks or whatever. I don't know. Correct on all accounts? Okay, gotcha. Hooligans, yeah. The youths. Yeah, it's all Clockwork Orange shit. It's like the rock, paper, scissors, you know? The hoodlums and youths counter the boomers by not phoning their grandma in the retirement home. The boomers counter the immigrants by voting with 100% consistency for politicians who further ostracize the immigrants. And the immigrants counter the youths by taking their jobs by being much harder working. It's like a perfect, it's perfect. It's like a perfectly balanced system. What about us normies in the UK, though? I don't think there are any normies. I just think you're one of those three groups that I described. I'm glad the lady lived. You know, that's preferable to her dying. That's my ethical position on the matter. I think it's good when people aren't randomly murdered.